Now, in our country, there is some level of legal education given at certain levels, but some people feel more could be done by the government to formulate some policies on legal education because of several reasons and issues that have happened recently. Some private lawyers, as well as deans of some law faculties, have come together to discuss about on the way to move forward. And the first point that was brought up was the need for government to formulate some policy on this legal education. Um, there have been issues where some foreign, law practitioners have been brought into the country to handle some issues, and some of them feel this should not be so. These alternative legal service providers sort of have now come to take the work that they should have been doing, and all the work that is supposed to bring them income is now being taken from them, and they feel threatened that this is one of the issues where they feel threatened about that if care is not taken, they would eventually be swept out of the law scene, because it looks like the trust for some local lawyers is not really built properly. So one of those who are at this law meeting for policy implementation was Miss Isabel Button. She is also a private law practitioner now. According to her, there were ways where we could beef up, our law and the way we go about it. We should improve upon it in different ways. Now, she had an opportunity of reviewing some of the proposed Legal Professions Act, and from what she saw, she realized that we need an act that will be sort of forward looking, so that we could have an opportunity to do something in the now and not just talk. From what she has seen, there is no like policy for legal education in the country. It's different from when you enter the university and then maybe you want to pursue law. But when you look at even from the basic level to up to even the high school level, there's nothing done to put some interest in law in the individual. He has to reach the university before he pursues law. Now, while that's to her she feels is threatening, it has to be looked at, because when you start training the individual from the basic level with what law is and how to go about it, by the time they reach the university, they will have built those fundamental things they need to work upon before they enter the law scene. But if you wait till they are adults, there may be some things that may be lacking on them, and then this is what would push for people who want their cases to be won to go for international lawyers. You get it? From what she's saying, I get the angle. So we can sort of like make law some form of option in high school at least, so that I will be giving the individuals the basics they need, those who would like to pursue law, instead of waiting for them to reach the university before giving them all that learning and just cramming it upon them. When we do it this way, we would be able to not only give them what they need for the future, but would also be able to establish some truths that our citizens need to know, so that they are not cheated and they are not pushed aside when it comes to issues concerning the law. So she asked whether there was such a policy for legal education in the country, and from what she checked on and she heard, there was none. So she and as well as the others who are in this vision for legal education are pushing for the government to do something about it. It would be a good idea if such a policy would, be there, so it could respond to some challenges facing the law sector, and then also secure the future of law practice in the country. from what she's saying, globalization is bringing this form of competition, and the way the invasion of legal space by international law firms is happening, most of them are not too sure of where they stand. But you can't really blame the way this thing is happening. If a person feels an international lawyer will be able to do the work, is an international lawyer the person will go for. So what we need to do is to rather improve upon the law services we render in our law firms. I mean, think about it. If not, these international firms will always be taking the monies that you should have been taking. But you can't blame the people who go for them because they want someone who win the case. And sometimes you need to start grooming these lawyers at an early age and not when they get to the universities before doing so. So we are looking at the scope of all these things. I mean, law is an interesting thing, and I'm sure many individuals will be glad to even have law, as a subject. When you think about even the way people appreciate social studies, you'd see it's one of those things that it helps the individual to have an idea of the world in which we are in. Then also it opens his mind to the possibilities of the dangers that would meet him when he goes about certain things in a certain way. So it will be a good thing to either make law one of the subjects or find a way to put it inside social studies. I was saying that it should be put in social studies so that it does not become a new burden to the whole education system, to bring a subject that is new on board. But when they put it in social studies, put a little bit of law in social studies, it will be easier that way because law is a matter of reading. You don't need to go into a laboratory to get law, and it will be easier to put it in subjects like social studies, where English is already the core. Then that way the individual can get a little feel of what law is like. So Miss Button was hoping that law will be made as one of the education materials in our education system in Ghana. Now she was hoping that there would be also a way to make the crafts beautiful and interesting to many individuals, because there are some who would make good lawyers, but because they have never had the exposure to it, they will never even know that this law thing could be very good for me. So it's all about making it also look attractive for the individuals who would like to pursue law. She spoke on how some human resources impact the legal education at different levels, and it was a realization for them. Come on, think about it. To get a lawyer, you need money, and if you can get a lawyer from an international place using twice the money you would use for a local lawyer, it only means you are that serious to win a case. So why won't you also be that serious and save yourself even more money? But it starts from the person you go after. There are some cases where too many people go for one particular lawyer because that particular lawyer is known for how good he is and how good he is at winning cases. There are other lawyers there who are not being picked. The question is why? Yes, exactly, because that particular lawyer has more of an exposure, more of an experience than the rest. Sometimes it may not even be experience. It's because of the name or the fame of his wins in the court of law. You get it? So instead of us putting too much pressure in one area and on these international firms, let's make all or most of the lawyers that's very good, so that we reduce all these issues that they are facing. For some private lawyers, it's getting hard for them. People are not bringing cases to them, and if you are not getting cases, you are not getting money. So they are really looking at the way to go forward with this. She met with some panelists, the dean of the School of Law in the University of Professional Studies, as well as a former vice president of the International Criminal Court, and also some dean of the Faculty of Law in the University of Ghana. So these people all came together and agreed on these implementations of law education. By the way, for those of you who would like to know, there was also some dean of the University of Lagos in Nigeria, Professor Ugo Bolidera, and the rest. There are other names you'd like to know for those of you who know these people and how very instrumental they have been in the law scene in Ghana. We have Professor Kofi Abuchi, and then also we have Professor Ikuya Krancha. All these people have been very, very instrumental, with the hopes that this will be implemented. They'll find ways to make legal education something that will be popular in a manner that will appeal to the individual, and to even the person who wants to find out things about law. There are people who have interest in law, not necessarily because they want to be lawyers, but they just have that interest in it, and if they are given that exposure, they would be able to get more of what they need. There should be some form of minimum requirement that everybody must at least go through, some equal access to some legal education from the basic levels, before they reach university. I mean, high school can easily put that in social studies. Even in junior high school, they can put it also in social studies, which is a subject that is done by all, which is a core subject. So all this can be done. We shouldn't wait to someone chooses government or one of these things in the university to pursue before they are exposed to law. When you do that early, those who have the interest for it and also the skill for it would start to develop those areas that they need to work upon. Maybe some would see how they should speak in a court of law, the way to address issues in court, the ways to speak and address a judge. You don't see her and say madam. No, there's a way you say your honor, and all of those things. All of these things are very much needed, because for some people they even enter the court ignorant of all of these behaviors that are not accepted in courts, and they find themselves in trouble. Sometimes they are sacked out of the court rooms and all, because they are not taught. You get it? For some people, they have to go to court over and over again for them to understand, oh, this is the way we do things. Oh, when the judge enters the room, we are all to get up. You get it? All those things are things that the individual should learn before they reach that level where they are taken to court, and then they look baffled at all the things that are happening around them. Because in the court, the judge and those around them may take certain things as disrespect, but the individual may think, oh, he's just doing his own thing. He's not doing anything wrong, and so that is it. Even the ways to handle phones and gadgets in the courtroom, all of those things, there's a lot of education that can be done to make the individual understand how this law thing works. You get it? So that would be a very good thing. That would work out well. We just have to look at how the right infrastructure will be put in place for the training of all these people who would like to venture into law, and even those people who wouldn't like to venture and yet would need to have an idea of how the system works. I mean, we cannot wait for all these people to grow up before training them to be lawyers. You get it? There are other innovative ways to do these things. As much as funds are needed to get this thing going, there are some areas where funds may not be needed. Just one or two topics that will be put in the syllabus can change the whole scope of the law scene in the nation. So they were hopeful that by this legal education that they are hoping the government will be able to fund and push forward, there will be changes in the system of law in Ghana, and all these challenges such as lack of motivation and poor remuneration of lawyers would be changed, and also people will get to understand what law is for themselves. Okay, thank you for listening. Give us your ideas and your suggestions Do you agree with this? Should government, do its best to put in law, legal education inside the syllabus, and to find ways to be, helpful to students who would like to pursue law? What do you think? Just give us your comments in the section below. Thank you for listening and have a very, very nice day.